Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Kristal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all with us for another episode of this here podcast. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, but before we do, y'all know how I got to start the show. Kristal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. We just had a whole show before the show, so I really don't have much of an update for you. Yeah, I'm good. It's been a chill week. We've had some friends over this past week. My dad's been hanging out with us. They're up at the cabin right now, fishing and everything like that. So it's been chill. How about you? How was your week?
Oh, girl. My week, you know what? My week was good. My week was productive. It got very busy at the end of the week. and we decided to just get the ball rolling. We were out all day today from the rooter to the tutor. I think before we had got on here, I had only been home for like maybe 2 hours or something like that to eat dinner and get the little one bathed and in bed and everything. So, but it was a very nice, very nice day today. We went to this park kind of place. It's like a big playground park kind of place where they have like all different types of activities, petting zoo, trains, all different type of stuff. But you know what a moon car is? It's like a little. It's like a pedal powered go-kart kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that. I guess they're more common over here than they are at home. Because I don't think I've seen one. You know, kids, I see them like on the sidewalk and stuff with them here. So I guess they're pretty common. So that was a nice time, but it's been a busy week overall, and I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a blitz until the end of the year, honestly.
Okay.
Honestly. So we finna buckle in, girl.
Okay, well, let's get into our stories. And I think I'm up first, right?
You are up first.
I am. Okay. So I had saved this story, but I completely forgot about it. So my brother actually brought this back to my attention. So shout out to Justin because he sent me this story. So this is called, and this is from Am I the Asshole? It says, Am I the asshole? Who am I kidding? I am definitely the asshole for sleeping with my ex-fiancé's affair baby 23 years later.
Wait. I look like that lady. Have y'all ever seen that gif of that lady where she's looking around and all the calculations
like
that's what I was like, wait, his ex's affair baby having girl. Okay, let's get into it. Let me put myself on mute.
I'm a 45-year-old guy, single, no kids. All names are fake. Okay, here's the short version. About 24 years ago, my then fiance Ella, then 20, told me she was pregnant. I was over the moon. We did not set a wedding date yet, but now we wanted to wait until the child was 2 to 3 to be part of the wedding party. When she was about 7 months pregnant, my world shattered. A friend, let's call him Luke, told me that the child was his and not mine. This led to a physical fight, and Ella took his side. We were done. I broke up with her there. She moved in with Luke, and I did demand a paternity test. If the child was mine, I demanded to be in its life. After the birth of the girl, the test was done twice. By a clinic I chose and one she chose. Turned out she was not mine. I was destroyed and I left town. She could have her life. I didn't want to witness it. Now to the present. A month ago, my work brought me back to my hometown temporarily for 2 weeks. I ran into Ella with her daughter, Nikki, 23, at an impromptu school reunion. Ella wanted to catch up. I wasn't angry anymore, but also did not see the point of being friends. I declined and mingled. After a while, I sat at a table nursing a drink. Ella had already left, and Nikki sat at my table. She asked for 10 minutes to talk. She knew about my history with her mother, and it was clear that she resented her mother because Luke was also not her bio dad. Ella cheated on me with at least 2 people. 23andMe revealed the real bio dad. He had passed away already. When Nikki was 7, Luke found out and kicked them out, and it became this scandal. Nikki was bullied her whole life for being the affair baby. Luke's family disowned her. All the cousins she was close with were gone all of a sudden. She blamed her mother. I asked her why she told me all of this. She said that I am someone who would understand this betrayal, and she is a product of that betrayal. She does not expect anything from me. She just needed someone to talk to that would understand. I felt for this kid. So we kept talking. We exchanged contact info and went our ways. Next day, she wanted to talk more, to vent more. So we met in the bar of the hotel I was staying. We had drinks and she ranted about her life. We talked till late, and when the bar closed, Nikki was too drunk to drive home. And since I didn't know where she lived, I couldn't even get her an Uber. So I took her to my room. I have the habit of always getting a room with twin beds. So she slept in one bed and I slept in the other. Nothing happened. Next morning, we had breakfast and she left while I went to work. A few nights I met Nikki in a bar because she had a lot to rant about. We also talked about her future, and she expressed interest to move out of town to escape the stigma of being the affair baby. Here is where I am the asshole. I made a move on her one night. At first, she walked away. I thought I blew it, so I went up to my room. An hour later, she sends me a text asking if I was in my room. As soon as I answered with a yes, she knocked on the door. I was sober. She was sober. I had time to think. I could have sent her away, but I didn't. This is the daughter of my ex-fiancé. If I had never found out Ella cheated, I would have raised Nikki as my own daughter. But I found out, and Nikki is not my daughter. I never saw her as a baby, never saw her grow up. I never saw her as a daughter. The first time I saw her was a week ago. So yes, I slept with her. And then again. Nikki is more vengeful than I am. She said she wanted to let her mother know, but she wasn't going to do it if I didn't want to. I was okay with letting her know. It took a little convincing in how we would let her know. We took a picture together, clearly in bed, clearly naked, but covered by sheets. And she sent it as a one-time view picture to her mother via Instagram message with the caption, I can finally call him daddy. Ella called.
Girl, I've never done this. I've never done this. But you got to hold the fucking phone. Hold it. Because I can't handle this. I put myself on you. But bitch, I am having a conniption over here. You've got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, please continue. Get
okay.
through it, because I got
I'm almost
some shit
done.
to say.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Go ahead.
Okay. Ella called and they got into a fight. They got into a fight with me, still over the phone. I thought I was over the betrayal, but it seemed like I had bottled up everything and now it finally came out. I had 4 more days there and Nikki stayed in my hotel room those 4 days. Now I'm back home. Nikki is currently packing everything. She's going to move to another country to be away from her mom and her toxic environment. She will stay with me for a week, maybe more, before she flies away. She is going no contact with her mother. I have also blocked Ella on everything. Yes, Nikki and I are both broken. I refused therapy for years, but after that one outburst where I told Ella everything that was bottled up, I've decided that I do need therapy. I've suggested it to Nikki. She said that when she has said it, she will. I'm not even going to ask if I'm the asshole. I know I am. Edit current situation hungover. Wow, this post blew up. Yeah, none of that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, that's the end of it. He knows he's the asshole.
Not only are you the asshole, you a sick son bitch. You a sick son bitch. Let me tell you something. I can't. Like Kristal, I can't fathom how you, as a grown ass 40-something-year-old man, looked at this little girl, right, who has a tangential relationship to a failed relationship of yours in which you felt betrayed. The fact that you ended this letter by saying that you're now going to therapy after you slept with this lady daughter. I'm not going to say what I want to say. But all I'm going to say is you need to take a long walk off a short bridge. Okay? I'm sick of you. I'm sick. I'm disgusted. I am disgusted because this girl obviously, I mean, before she even sent the picture and confirmed that she has daddy issues, okay? Mm-hmm. You knew she was in a vulnerable position, right? When she came to you after losing not one, but 2 daddies. Actually, she lost 3 daddies because her real daddy dead.
Mm-hmm.
She lost 3 daddies. That girl went down there in that parking lot of your hotel and she cried her brains out of her nose. And she said the only thing in some sick, twisted way in her head, she connected you being a father figure to being somebody that she needed to hunch on that evening to feel better.
Right.
And you didn't think that deeply into it. You just took your revenge. Because let's call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
You hunched that lady daughter because you wanted to get back at this lady for breaking your heart way back in the day. You a sick son bitch.
I think
some of y'all, hold on, Kristal.
I'm sorry.
Because you done pissed me off with this letter.
Actually, my brother pissed you off.
Your brother Justin had pissed me off with this letter.
Yeah.
When I say I just saw that a man was lethally euthanized yesterday as a sentence for the death penalty. I think we need to get a little more liberal with this euthanasia because, sir, at this point, you are a danger to society. Okay, I understand everybody was consenting here, but how well can you consent when you're mentally damaged? Let's really take a step back and think about that. Because you both were in a place where you shouldn't have. Bitch, if you signed a contract during that time, you may have had standing in court to say that you weren't in your right goddamn mind to sign a legally binding document. You just exchanged soul ties with what would have been your stepdaughter. Potentially your adopted child if you had stayed with that lady. And you knew that. I understand you don't know this young lady from a grain of rice. But the emotions that dug up when you met her, when you got to talking to her on multiple occasions, and the fact that you hunched her, oh girl, I'm about to throw up. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Knowing where this stems from. For me to lay on top of you, girl, my libido must be in the basement, bitch, because ain't that much horny in the world to make me do no shit like that. Please go ahead, Kristal. You can piss me off.
I think what really got me with this one is the fact that this 40-something-year-old man, in the same story that he's talking about a woman he's had a sexual relationship with, he referred to her as kid. He said, this kid. What, sir? Like, you're talking about this person that I have since had sex with for multiple times because you spent 4 days in a hotel room with this person.
And this bitch is about to come stay at your house.
And she's about to come stay for a week at your house. And
you made the move.
You still called her kid. This kid. Yeah. I know your wife is sitting there going, what story are they talking about?
And you know what's crazy? She don't even know because she over there watching the Kardashians.
Oh, okay.
She's embroiled in.
Like I was like, mess. I'm seeing your
flailing,
and I'm wondering if she's just and she's only hearing your side of things. So it's like trying to piece together what the story is about. Like what?
I think our producer has gotten used to. I think she's started to just zone me out.
Tune it out.
He's doing something over there. I'm gonna do my thing over here. You know what I'm saying?
I'll catch it another time.
Girl.
Yes. We don't have to worry. We agree. You're the asshole.
Yeah.
You're the asshole.
I mean, because you can't punish somebody for this because they were both consenting.
Right.
Now, there's going to come a time. This young lady is more than likely. I'm not going to say that. This young lady is going to realize that she is a victim. She's not going to claim that she's a victim. She's going to realize that she is a victim in this situation because the power dynamic is off.
Yeah.
She's looking to you as a father figure, whether you want to realize that or not. There is a reason that she is venting to you. A reason that she's offloaded. She pretty much told you that. You're the only person who will understand. And she confirmed it with you when she took that picture and said, guess I can finally call him daddy. Matter of fact, I want both of y'all in the electric chair, bitch. And I want to pull the lever. Max volume. Pull the lever, Kronk. I want you bitches fried, dyed, and laid to the side. I am sick, girl. Let me read my story.
Okay.
Because it'd be 45 minutes before I'm done with this. I could keep going. I too. Where is this? Okay, this one is actually from r/relationship advice, my favorite subreddit. It is entitled, I found a bag in my fiance's car. It only had things that would be used for sex. Do I tell her what I found? Another betrayal, potentially. As the title says, I found a bag in my fiance's car that had some of our sex toys and lingerie, which I knew about. Massage oil I had never seen before. And it's a pretty new bottle, but has definitely been used in a 3/4 empty can of whipped cream. We've never used massage oil together, and we have also never used whipped cream. I've never even seen her eat whipped cream or have even seen it in our house before. I had the obvious suspicion that she is or has had an affair, and these things were used during that encounter. I'm trying to think of any rational reason why that stuff would be in there, but I can't. The bag was used when we went out for a weekend for my birthday 2 months ago or so. The toys and lingerie were in there. I don't remember seeing the massage oil though. And there was certainly no whipped cream. However, she takes this bag when she works as an overnight nanny in a town about an hour away or so from our home. I know she works as a nanny on the side. She's been doing it for years on and off, but I can't shake the suspicion of an affair. And I feel like any rational or reasonable person would have questions about this. Is this questionable behavior? Please help.
OP, I want you to pretend I'm holding your hand. I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. Your wife is having an affair. Now I don't know if you've ever met or seen the kids that she supposedly nannies, but I'm getting the feeling she might not be nannying. And all those instances where she went out to go nanny on the side. Yeah.
She was getting nannied on the
side. I don't think kids were involved. I don't think there's any kids involved. I definitely think you need to confront her. Because she's having an affair. She is. And you need to leave. You deserve better. As I tell all the females, you deserve better, sir. But yes, she's having an affair, dude. She's absolutely having an affair.
You know, when we say you need to leave, sometimes I think of that meme of when that man had stood up and he was saying some wild shit in some like town hall meeting, and the crowd was like, "Oh," and the lady was like, "You need to leave." That's what I'd be thinking in the back of my head, like, "Sir,
but you mean to tell me?" The thing is, he mentions this bag that of toys. Like he says, didn't he say their toys? So is their
toys.
So, sir, not only is she having an affair, she's using the same, mostly the same, because you don't get the massage oil or whipped cream, but the other toys, that's nasty. She is using them with you both.
I mean, with y'all both. And the fact that, okay, do y'all not take this bag out the car?
Right.
Because after that weekend, I would assume that everything would need to be like boiled, disinfected, wiped down, washed, thrown away, replaced. Because I don't know what kind of freakish time y'all on, bitch. Because I mean, to each their own. Because I don't. Food is not. I don't. I don't want nothing edible around none of my. That's not to me. I'm sorry. Right. I don't mean to king shame. For y'all girls that like a steak grilled on your back. Okay. Like, to each their own. You want A1 sauce dripping down your ass crack. I'm not one to judge. You like the sweet tangy sensation on your... Anyway. I'm not one to judge. But for me, the whipped cream would have pissed me off more than anything. Because I wouldn't be like, you nasty bitch. You about to bring me like yeasty coochie. Like, it's everything, your pH and everything is about to be off. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to be the one that be like, girl, that thing tart. Like, that shit tastes like now or laters. What's going on? This tastes like the green now or later. Let me see again. Because sometimes you got to... Sometimes you got to taste stuff twice to be sure. Bitch, yeah. What is going on? This shit tastes like a green now or later. Mm-hmm. It's the green apple now or later. What the fuck is going on down there? I don't want... That would have pissed me off more than anything. Mm-hmm. The infidelity, let's put that to the side for a second. Why is there whipped cream in its bag? Yeah. Yeah. She is cheating on you.
She's cheating on you. Confront her.
An hour or so away, Kristal.
Right.
There ain't nobody in this town that need a nanny.
And so I'm assuming because it's that far and she's bringing this bag, like, she stays there. She stays the night.
And what the fuck are these people paying you? To where going an hour away is worth the travel that it's going to cost for you to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the time that you spending away from me. Now, I will say this. I had to do some extreme editing to that letter, y'all. That letter was insanely poorly written. I'm not saying that she deserves to find someone who knows how to properly use punctuation, remembers to capitalize the letter I, remembers apostrophes. It's when it's, it is not, you know what I'm saying? The apostrophe needs to, you need to put that there, sometimes commas aren't necessary. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to break up a sentence that says, I have, comma, a cat. That don't, you see how that should be one. You don't need to comment. So I'm not saying that you deserve it, but I'm saying, I'm not too mad at her. Go on Duolingo, take the English course. Mm-mm. Okay. Let's refresh. Anyway.
Moving on.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good sir. All right.
She's cheating.
All right, moving on. So I couldn't really decide one way or the other what I wanted to do for this middle section. So I have kind of a smorgasbord of stuff. First of all, Timmy, have you seen the new Netflix documentary, the true crime one that just came out this past week?
You know what's crazy? Netflix lost me as a customer some months ago because Netflix implemented that password sharing rule, where it's now connected to your personal IP address at home. Mm-hmm. And so now, the family Netflix account is no longer the family Netflix account. And while I enjoy Netflix, I have YouTube Premium. Yeah. I have Peacock. I have Hulu. I have HBO Max. I have Disney Plus. I'm sorry. I don't need you, Netflix. You're enjoyable, but there's a lot of stuff on there that I really, really, really enjoy. but I don't watch enough TV for you to really make a difference. You know what I'm saying? I have time to watch one episode of one series every few evenings.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Bye.
Well, it is a really good documentary. It's only 2 episodes long. It's called Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter. I don't want to give too much away. Like, if you really want to hear about it, we'll go off, because I don't want viewers because it just came out. So if they want to watch it, I don't want to give spoilers. But it's really good. And actually, I had worked on part of this story, not the Netflix version, but a couple years back, I did I did a show called Interrogation Raw for A&E, and it covered part of this story. So I met some of the people that were featured in this documentary. But it's crazy. It basically tells the story of this lady who gave up her daughter for adoption when she was 16. She had had her for like 9 months before her mother convinced her that she needed to give her up for adoption. And it happened. She gave her up for adoption in Norfolk, Virginia. And she would later learn, I want to say 30 something years later, she was contacted by the adoption agency, because she would learn that 20 years prior, when her child was about 13, 14 years old, she had disappeared. And they were contacting her because they had found a body in a field, and they needed to be able to identify her, because it had been like 10 years or so, or 20 years maybe even, since the disappearance. So they wanted her to do DNA testing with her to see if she matched, and she didn't match. But because this was an adoption, it was closed adoption, they wouldn't give her any other information. They wouldn't tell her what the name was, where she was from, any of that stuff. So she started doing her own investigation. She found out what her daughter's name was changed to, who the adopted family was. And she met some of her friends who had gone to school with her, who knew her personally, and basically learned that the people she was adopted by were not the best people. And that there might have been more, because she was listed as being a runaway, and she just had this intuition that there was more to it than that. And essentially found out that the dad had quite the bit of a bad past with the law.
Oh my God.
Yep. And so she spent the next, I don't know how many, like essentially decades, trying to prove that this family did something to her daughter, that she wasn't just a runaway, that an investigation needed to be made, because back then, of course, when she's a runaway, no investigation is made. And that she truly believed that not only was her daughter dead, but that her daughter was buried in their backyard. Was convinced. Was saying it up and down, writing it on Facebook posts, putting up flyers, going, does anyone have missing flyers? Because they never did it. They never put up missing flyers of her. So she had a billboard put up like right by their house. So they were always, and was essentially harassing her. And she essentially harassed them so much that they went to the cops to report her about it, and in doing so didn't realize they were already under investigation for another crime that happened somewhere else in the country. And this allowed the cops to take that to their advantage and get evidence that they needed to prove he did this crime in another part of the country. And so the second episode was about that.
Okay, why am I about to go sign up for Netflix right now? Like,
look,
Netflix need to cut you a check, Kristal, because you sold that to me.
Because this was a wild thing. This woman's intuition was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The resentments that she must have felt towards her mom.
Oh, yeah.
To be like, bitch, you made me give up my baby. And this is what happened to my baby.
And
if
her mother,
my baby.
They told her, because she was 16, they convinced her this was the best. She had to do it now while she was still a baby, but she was going to get the best of the best. They convinced her. And so she truly believed when she was contacted by the adoption agency, she thought it was because they were reaching out because she wanted to meet her. She was so excited because she had been waiting for this day. She had hoped one day her daughter would come out and find her, and then they could reconnect. So to find out that not only were they requesting your DNA to identify this body, but that this 20 years prior, she had disappeared.
Oh my God. That is insane.
Crazy. I definitely recommend it. Recommend it. If nothing else, like I said, if you want to hear all about it, we'll talk off because I don't want to give too much away. But it was insane.
I need to watch it. I ain't gonna
lie. Look, you do. Okay. It's 2 hours. The second episode is the case that they talk about, the one that they were trying to connect him to. That's the case I covered on the Interrogation Raw series.
Okay.
But yeah, I just didn't realize how big of a connection it was. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a little bit of a true crimey there. We're going to go into, just to lighten things up. I saw this BuzzFeed article that was about people were tweeting their most awkward moments, and it's cringiness. And I just want to read a few of these tweets because they're funny. Okay. This one says from Jenny Lawson. She said, airport cashier, have a safe flight. Me, you too. I can never come here again.
Oh.
The amount of times I do this.
I hate when that happens. Like,
yes.
It's like, I just want to look at them and be like, I'm not dumb. I didn't mean to say that.
You too.
I was just trying to be like, Cord.
I hate when I do that. I hate when I do that when I'm at a restaurant, when they like give me the appetizer and they're like, enjoy. And I'm like, you too. Because then I'm like, what are they going to enjoy, Kristal?
Yeah.
Their job? No.
Exactly.
What are they enjoying, Kristal? Not this appetizer. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And by
or
then,
like when you're about to go into the movies or something and they're like, enjoy your film. You too. You too.
The one later that you're going to watch.
You're at work. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
This one said JCVC. She said, I once thanked a grieving family member for coming to the funeral. I was once thanked by a grieving family member for coming to the funeral. I responded, no, thank you. Worst.
Because for me, it's oh no.
Thank you.
Because for me, it's kind of like, okay, I could see being like, well, thank you for including us. You know, and we really love Patricia, but to be like, no, thank you. Excuse me,
baby. I know. Can you excuse me? There's something you're not telling me.
They just had I laid out on the pews. They just had to drag me down the aisle because I passed out. And you telling me no thank you?
Thank you. Angela Bassa said, I texted my boss at the end of my first day in the new job with heading out, love you, intended for my boyfriend.
Oh, you really have to look at these text messages because I've definitely done this where I have texted somebody that I'm just moving too fast. Luckily, it hasn't been anything, escandalo.
Yeah.
But I have definitely, and I've been on the receiving end of text where I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, yeah, what is this?
And then I just start responding. They're like, so sorry. This was meant for somebody else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's that Jen girl said, told a one-armed man to tell his mother the flowers I just put together for her cost him an arm and a leg.
Oh, number one. Number one, your place of employment needs to pull you in the office, okay, to tell you, bitch, you don't need to be telling people that our items are so expensive that it costs the customers an arm and a leg. That's number one. Okay, you need to watch your goddamn mouth. Okay. But you also need situational awareness, baby.
I need the full story of that.
This man is missing his whole arm and his whole leg on the opposite sides. The equilibrium is off.
I need to know if he just didn't show the arm, because I really hoped at the end he went up there and was like, thanks. I need to know.
I'm not going to hell with you. I'm not doing it.
I'm just saying.
I have my gasoline draws on, but I'm not going with you. Okay.
H. Kel said, walked up to a baby holding stranger, thinking it was my sister at my daughter's soccer game and said, give me that baby. Situal awareness is what we're saying.
Because I can absolutely, I have seen this happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the aunt or uncle or cousin comes up and it's like, hand her over.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I can absolutely see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you how I almost was ready to like fight or flight at the playground that I was at today?
Yeah.
Speaking of babies, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it was two situations back to back, right? So my child, right? She was it was a slide that was on this hill.
Yeah.
Big slide, wide slide, so multiple kids can come down at one time.
Okay.
So you have to run up the hill to get back to the top. My baby tripped. Now, mind you, I only saw it out the corner of my eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was a grown-ass man standing there, like next to where she fell.
Mm-hmm.
And in my brain, even though I didn't see it, in my brain, I was like, that motherfucker tripped my baby. And I was, Kristal, I had to look at the ground and breathe for a second because I was like, and the fucked up thing is he had like a 1-year-old in his arms. And it was about to be a wrap for him and that baby. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I was about to push his ass down that hill with the baby in the arms. I'm sorry. I got so immediately rageful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I know you did not disturb. Now my baby, she be in the way. I ain't gonna hold you. I witnessed it today. Because she be walking in front of us sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, is she doing this shit on purpose? But she was walking onto the playground at one place. And it was this man that was walking behind her. Mm-hmm. And he tried, I counted 3 times to get around her. And she was looking straight ahead. And every time he took a step to the left or the right, she was like directly in front of him. So he just had to walk slowly behind her until she trailed off. And then he went off by his way. And I was like, damn, she really don't know she be doing this, but she be doing it. So I was like, all right, Tim, calm. Ooh. All right, T, calm down, calm down, chill out. Ain't nobody do nothing on purpose. But I feel like karma. Y'all, please don't judge me. I felt like karma came back because I didn't have confirmation. I couldn't act on it because I didn't see it happen. Mm-hmm. But I felt like karma came back around on my behalf because he was helping the 1-year-old slide down the slide, right? And there was this little girl at the top of the slide.
Oh, no.
And the baby, and he had helped the baby. I'm sorry. I'm so fucked up. My wife is in the corner dying laughing because I did not tell her none of this. This is the first time she's hearing it. He helped the baby from the top of the slide. The baby got down. So the baby is getting up. Mind you, he just found out what legs are. He's wobbling. This little girl came down the hill full speed. When I say she tumbled that nigga like pins at the end of a bowling lane, and that baby got the hooping and hollering, and I was like, yes. I was like, that's what your ass get. You tripped my baby. Now you got to deal with this bullshit. You don't even know, though. Kristal, I don't know. I'm a. You know what? I'm a fractured individual. I'm a fractured individual. I don't know why I just admitted to that on the podcast, but bitch, I'm in the mood to share. Okay, girl.
Okay.
I did. I'm confessing my sins to y'all.
Okay, just a few more of these. This one says, you know who? I apologized to a woman I nearly bumped into in a record store. It was my reflection in the window, and I had just dyed my hair blonde. I understand that. When I've dyed my hair, I don't think I've ever tried to apologize to myself, but there's been times where I've looked in the mirror and I had to do a double take because I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. That's my hair. Okay. That's why my hair is so dark now.
For some reason, I've never had that experience.
Yeah. No. Well.
I don't
noticed, who was this? Disillusioned Torontonian. I don't know. They said, noticed the blind man approaching me. Wasn't sure where I was, so called out, on your right. I was on his left. He corrected me.
No, that's not funny.
It's
that's
not funny. The fact that he had to correct you. The handsomest man, this is Days. The handsomest man I've ever seen once sat down next to me and said, hi. I responded with, I'm eating a Tootsie Roll. He left. This would be me.
Hey, you know what you should have did is looked at him while you were eating that Tootsie Roll. Oh no, wait, no, you eating a Tootsie Roll. Never mind.
I was about to say that's not a good visual.
Yeah, because you know where I was going with that.
I know. Yeah.
How many licks to get to the?
Yeah.
Because then he may have slid a little closer.
Lollipop. Yeah.
He may have slid closer. Maybe he was trying to find out.
That would be my awkwardness. I'd be like, oh, you're speaking to me. Why? Say the first thing in my mind, I'm eating a Tootsie Roll. They would just leave. And I'd be like, that makes sense.
Can you imagine? Like they sit next to you and you're like, I ate bad sushi.
I just had some beans.
I had beans. My stomach is a wreck. I have gas.
Just the most, yeah.
I didn't have gas. I didn't. Sorry.
This one is from Kelly. She said a friend went to place her order at a drive-thru. She then heard, "Can you drive up to the speaker? You're talking to the trash can."
Okay, well, girl, you don't need to be driving. Okay, if you can't tell the trash can from the speaker, bitch, you need to get from behind the wheel.
Okay, let's do one more. Got into the passenger seat of the wrong car outside of Starbucks. The driver waited until I finished my phone call to tell me.
No, ma'am. Like, get up out my car. Because if I'm in a line for Starbucks, bitch, I'm heading somewhere.
I'd be
get out.
Excuse. Oh, okay. You're. Oh, when you're finished, yeah.
And what kind of conversation you having to where you getting in the car and you can't tell what's going on around you? Like, what kind? I need the tea actually, because that must be a good ass conversation. Well, you sitting in my car for an extended period of time and not realizing where the hell you at. But it's like that, man. You seen that story about that man? That was a couple months ago, I think. Where the people he had got in the people's car. Or they had got in the people's car and didn't realize until the dog was in the back. And it was like, I don't have a dog. Because it was the same make and model and color car.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, I've seen that.
No, I feel like I know my vehicle. And I know my space. Okay. Yeah. The second, if the scent is off, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't understand people who don't be paying attention.
No, me either. I try to be so aware of my surroundings because you just never know, especially when I'm by myself, because you just don't know
in America,
the world around you.
Right.
Yeah. There's so many more of these, so I'm going to save this article. We can do it again, but I just wanted to bring a little bit of laughter.
That was a good time
to the show.
That was
so
a good
you're up
time.
with the next story.
Let's do it. So this one comes to us from the subreddit r/am I the asshole, as always, and it is entitled, "Am I the asshole for telling my wife that she needs to get over me missing the birth of our daughter?" Yep. This is a story du jour, just for Kristal. I'm
going to refrain and assume he has a very good explanation, life or death situation, for why he missed the birth of his child. I'm going to.
So it goes a little something like this. I worked in a job where there are certain times that I do not have access to my phone, or I'm in the middle of nowhere. These times are well scheduled in advance, and basically take up my whole day. There are a ton of safety regulations that I have to follow during this time. My wife is pregnant, and at the time I planned to take off work near her due date. Unfortunately, she went into labor early, about a month early, and I was on an inspection. I only learned about her going into labor when I got signal again. By the time I got to the hospital, she had already given birth. It has been about a year and a half, and I am an involved father. The issue is every single time we have an argument, she will bring up that I missed the birth. It happens almost every single time, from serious arguments to what we should get for fast food. Today was my breaking point. We got into an argument about her wanting to change the daycare situation. She wants to change daycare to one closer to our home. I do the drop off, she does the pickup. The one closer to our home is too expensive and we cannot afford it. In the middle of the argument, she pulled out that I wasn't there for the birth again. I told her that she needs to get over it and stop using it in every fucking argument we have. She called me a jerk and left. Am I the asshole?
Okay. Now that I have the full story. No, I don't think you're the asshole, because these were circumstances outside of your control. You can't help that your wife had the child a whole month earlier than what you planned. I mean, you knew that in your job, you do not have access to a phone. And so you tried to the best of your knowledge, create a plan where you would be available. Unfortunately, like most things in life, the world was like, hell no, we're not letting you have it that easy. And that happened. But as soon as you found out, you tried to get there. And as we all know, babies come on their own terms. Some women will be in labor for days, and some women will get to that hospital and that baby will come out so quick. And unless you were right there with her the whole time, you were never going to get there quickly enough. But yeah, while I'm a big believer in, you cannot tell somebody to get over something that you caused, like you didn't cause this intentionally, And so I do think it's wrong that she is taking this one instance of, failure and constantly trying to use it against you in every argument. I don't know if it's because she's hoping it's going to get her way, but I definitely think you guys need to have a little sit down and be like, all right, you obviously have some leftover feelings from this instance. Like, let's hash it out, because this can't be this can't be the only thing you bring up in a conversation when we're having an argument. This one thing that wasn't even really my fault. Like, because at the end of the day, I can't not have this job. Like, we have a kid. So if you're able to come up with a plan where we can successfully pay for this more expensive, then hey, let's have a conversation. But if you can't think of anything else for how we're going to pay for this extra income, like, what is there to have an argument about? We can't afford it. I understand it would make life easier, but we can't afford it right now. It is what it is. But yeah, not the asshole in my opinion.
I don't honestly, because I'm trying to take the adult approach here, right?
Right.
Because there's a very easy way to solve this situation, but let's be a little more grown up than that. While also being petty, I think you need to take her to couples therapy. So the therapist can tell her how much of a fucking idiot she is for doing this to you, okay?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee that therapist is going to be like, girl, that is not fair. Like, that is simply not fair. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have some other underlying issues, because this is what it's reading to me, right?
Yeah.
There's something else that you're doing that she don't like, or something that you're not doing that she wants you to do more of, right? In some way you're lacking here. And she's using that as a scapegoat, right? Not to say that she doesn't have a legitimate reason to bring up in front of you, but that's the thing that she feels that will anchor the argument that you can't really argue against, because at the end of the day, girl, you did miss it, but it's not your fault. Yeah. And that's the thing that she's not mentioning, and that's intentional, right?
Yeah.
So there's something deeper in there that you need to explore and that you need to extract and present to your relationship to see if y'all can move past it, because it's going to end your relationship.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't because this thing is going to blossom into more arguments, and it's going to branch off until eventually y'all are going to forget what the root of the argument was.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, girl, it's too late to resolve all this shit. Yeah. So if you want any hope of saving this relationship, I say go to couples therapy. Yeah. And get that therapist to tell her how wrong she is for doing this shit to you, and to tell you the real reason she don't like your ass.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's something else. It's got to be something else. Like, you can't keep, especially if this is the only argument you have. There's nothing else I'm doing that you can bring up. You know, something more recent. Yeah.
Because how we go from get me a number 3 from Wendy's to you weren't there for the birth of our child? How did we get here?
Like, what?
Well, how did we get here?
And all you can do is be like, but why was I not there? What were the events leading up to it? Like, you walk me through it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm getting the feeling maybe she doesn't believe you. Like, maybe she thinks you were having an affair and you were with your affair partner or something like that. Like, there's something else that
that's
she's
what
not
I'm
saying.
Mm-hmm. It's something else there, because it's not making sense.
It's not.
And one thing we know is that women are a lot of things, but they are not dumb.
No.
Okay. By and large, unless you're, Nancy. Oh no, not Sarah Palin. Excuse me. Unless you're Sarah Palin, you're not dumb. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving on to my story. This is from the Am I the Asshole, and it says, Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend it wasn't okay to wake me up in the middle of the night, even though she felt unsafe?
Is this a he? Is this a he?
This is he.
Mm-hmm. He about to piss me off, but I'm going to let you cook. Okay. I'm going to let you cook.
Okay. So this happened recently, and I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong here. My girlfriend called me in the middle of the night after being out drinking with her friends. I had an extremely important and long work day ahead. She knew it, and I was already running on too little sleep. When she called, she said she missed me and just wanted to talk. I told her I really needed to sleep because of my early start and how tired I was. She asked if I could stay on the phone with her for another 10 minutes, and we ended up having a nice conversation before I went back to bed. The next day, I told her that while I understood she wanted to talk, it really wasn't okay for me to be woken up like that, especially when I had such a demanding day ahead. Her response was that she felt unsafe walking home at night and that she needed to hear my voice to feel better. I stuck to my point. Then she said I was being an asshole for not understanding the female perspective and how unsafe it can feel to be alone on a street at night. Also, that I am an asshole because she needed to ask for my help. I told her that I get that it can be scary, but I still think she could have called someone else who was awake or even ordered a taxi instead of waking me up when I had such an important day ahead. I obviously want to be there for her when she needs me, but I still think it's unreasonable to wake someone up for a non-emergency in the middle of the night, especially when it's going to mess up their day. Am I the asshole?
My jaw is about to dislocate, bitch, because I'm grinding my teeth trying to get through this story, but it is pissing me off so bad. I want y'all to know that Kristal crafted these stories to piss me off tonight, okay? She be doing it. She be trying to be slick, but I know that's why she be bringing these stories to me, because as a man, why are you such a bitch ass nigga? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Why are you a bitch ass nigga? Because I don't give a god. I'm trying not to cuss now. I don't care how sleepy you are. Are you gonna get your sleep? Are you sleepy? So you gonna get your 8 hours? Oh, your beauty sleep. You're gonna put on your concealer in the morning and your mascara to cover those bags under your eyes, and you're gonna You're gonna go off to work in your Prius, blowing bubbles out the back, baby. Oh, sorry. So sorry you didn't get your 8 hours. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man the fuck up. Stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up. This lady said that she felt unsafe. I can't tell you how many times I done had my female friends. I remember this time distinctly. I was in high school. One of my little friends who was a female called me. You know, we weren't supposed to be drinking in high school, but she was off it. Okay. And this was the first time she had called me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my friends, period, felt very safe with me, which you know what, I hold close to my heart. But she on multiple occasions called me and was like, T, you know, I'm walking home. You know, I'm out here. I ain't supposed to be out here. I'm going to get in trouble when I get home. But can you just talk to me while I walk home? Yes, bitch. It's 3:00 in the morning. But girl, you know what I'm saying? You were one of the rare people that caught me at this hour, because I used to turn my phone off.
Oh yeah,
even when I was from middle school, when I first got a phone, I used to turn my phone off at like 9:00. I used to power that bitch, and my friends used to be pissed at me because I just value my alone time.
Yeah.
Ever since then, and I would be radio silent. Catch me at school tomorrow, girl, at the 9:00. Sorry. But on multiple occasions, I have been that person for people. I mean, all the way up and through college. Okay. And I value being that person that people feel safe around, knowing, bitch, if something go down, this man right here is going to get to the bottom of it. Okay. Yes. So for you to have the opportunity to be that for someone that you call what, this is girlfriend? Somebody that you call your girlfriend, just say you don't like that bitch and move on. Okay, you don't like her. You don't fuck with her like that. And you know what? That's okay if you don't. Let somebody else be that for her. Why she put her trust in you in the first place, I don't know. You're in a place where you don't need to be with nobody. If you value your night's sleep to perform the next day on that level, you need casual relationships. You don't need no girlfriend. You don't need no girlfriend. You don't need no serious situation where people are going to be depending on you, relying on you, having expectations of how you're supposed to come through for them in these moments, right? Because you've shown that you failed the test, buddy. You failed the test. And I hope that you get that shit together. Because to me, it sounds like you've leaned on people your entire life and have never had to worry about anybody leaning on you. And I hope that's not the case, because a well-rounded human being does that not make. Okay?
Yeah.
You didn't piss me off in here, sir. You have fundamentally, in my eyes, failed as a man. And I know we are not supposed to subscribe to gender norms, but bitch, I have a premium subscription. Okay. I believe in gender fluidity. I believe in, people's orientations. No matter what, bitch, I am an ally from top to bottom, left to right. Kristal knows it's about me. I don't give a shit what you do, bitch, as long as you're a good person. You are okay. You are more than okay in my book. But there are fundamentally, I don't put anything on women. I don't expect women to perform or act in any way on this earth. But as a man, bitch, there are certain things that we are supposed to do when it comes to people, our role in people's lives, just based off of how we're made up, how we are born, right? And there is a certain level of if you can now, there are certain situations where some men can't. But if you are in an able-bodied position, to provide some type of protection for somebody, I'm not even saying a woman, but for somebody, bitch, you supposed to take that opportunity 10 out of 10 times. And if you can't, if you know that this person can't depend on you, that's being selfish. By having that relationship, leading this lady on, knowing I don't really fuck with her like that. Bitch, don't be calling me 3 o'clock in the morning, girl, to talk you home. You should have waited till the morning and let me know what happened. If you went missing in the woods that night, girl, that's on you. At the end of the day, that's what you telling her. If you went missing last night, bitch, that's on you. You shouldn't have been out that time of night. That's dictators.
That's kind of what some of the guys are saying in the comments too. They're trying to say that, you know, why should he give up like his sleep or whatever? He's trying to set boundaries for her poor lack of planning and yada, yada, yada. Like she should have called a cab. She should have done this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like it just goes to show that there are some people out there who don't have to worry about certain things. It's very obvious. There are things they don't, because for one, okay, who knows what her plan was that night? She went out with friends. I don't know if she met up with them or if they all went together, but there are, you know, when you're out drinking and you're with a group of people, things happen where sometimes that group of people leaves you. Shitty as it is, you know, what are you supposed to, what can you do? And then it takes her 10 minutes to get from where she's going to where she's going so that's probably why she didn't think about, one of the reasons why she didn't think about a taxi or Uber, because it's less than 10 minutes away walking to get where she's going. So she didn't want to have to wait in a place for this just to take her right around the corner. But regardless of all that, even if she did get a taxi or an Uber, if it was me, I still would have called my boyfriend while I was in this taxi and Uber to be on the phone with me while I'm being driven by this complete stranger who is more than likely probably a man, because that is still unsafe for a female. Yeah, for anybody. And not just the evidence. Yeah, not just for females. I mean, guys, but obviously things have happened to guys too. They've been robbed and stuff like that. But, you know, it's statistically more dangerous for a female who's by themselves to get in a vehicle thinking they're just going to get dropped safely at home, and that doesn't happen. I still would have called. So definitely the asshole on this one, and definitely proven that, you know, you're not a protector.
At the end of the day, because I mean, what heterosexual woman, because I can't speak for the women in the LGBTQ community. I don't know what you girls value in a partner, but I'm talking about heterosexual women in these traditional, quote unquote, because I don't believe in none of that shit. Yeah, relationships don't have protector as one of the qualities in a man that they are in partnership with. Right. You would be hard pressed to find it. You would be hard pressed to find it, and for good measure. What man do you want in your life? What man is worth having in your life that you can't even trust to protect you? Not even in this situation physically. This is an emotional request. Make me feel safe while I'm headed home. Yeah. While we had a pleasant conversation, you shouldn't have awakened me from my slumber. Chew rocks, bitch ass nigga. You crazy? Anyway, bitch, let's get out of here. Because girl. Thank you all so much for listening to the Tea and Crystals podcast. Kristal, I just want to say you have done a phenomenal job of pressing all my buttons this evening with these stories. Good. This is masterful work.
You're welcome.
Because you and I had a conversation, a few hours prior to this podcast, where we were both talking about how exhausted we were. And you were like, bet. I'm going to bring it out of him.
accepted.
Challenge accepted. We're gonna bring it out of them. So thank you for that, and thank you all for joining us for another riveting episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on the YouTubes. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story with us, please do so at teaandcrystals@gmail.com. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Make sure that you look in the description wherever you are listening or watching, because everything will be there just a click away. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Definitely leave us a comment, especially with the last story. Like, how did you feel about it? What are your thoughts on it? I would love to hear some of your opinions on the stories that we read today. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and we hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.